back in the team and good to be looking forward to Tokyo. Nikki, very simple question to start with. Is that going to be the USA men's team?
Yeah, I believe it will be. They had their trials just a few weeks ago now, after the second World Cup Hyundai stage. So, yeah, they are the team. They're going to be going to the Olympic Games.
Deservedly so, and we will see them shoot for gold here in Paris. France losing that first semi-final, go into the third place playoff for bronze medal and that crucial spot at the Olympic Games. But of course, we've got another semi-final to come, and it will be Indonesia versus Ukraine. And out they come onto the field of play as if they knew I was about to introduce them. It is Ukraine. Shooting on target number 1, Ivan Koshikar, Alexei Hunbin, and Jorge Ivanskaya. Up against Indonesia, Alvianto Prastiadi, Arif Pangestu, and Rial Salsabia. Let's go down to the stadium announcer for those introductions.
Indonesia, Arif Pangestu, Alvianta Bagas Prastiadi, Rial Salsabila, and their opponents shooting on target number 2, representing Ukraine, Oleksiy Hunbin, Georgi Ivanitsky, Ivan Kozokar. The line judge for this matchup is Christina Heinbein. Semi-final matchup number 2.
Well, here we go. It looked like a very strong Ukraine team, certainly for the first half of the sets they shot in the quarterfinal. They tended to drift off a little bit in the second half of each set. So strong team from Indonesia, even though they have a 17-year-old Arif Pangestu in the mix. Have you got a feel for who's going to take this one, Nikki?
I'm going to put my money on Ukraine, I think. I think they're just going to have enough to take them through, but it's going to be tight.
Well, in that case, I'm going to put my money on Indonesia. And they're shooting first to put some pressure on Ukraine. And here's the man they rely on to shoot first and last, Rial Salsabila. Prastiadi following suit with the second 10. And here is the teenager, Arif Pangestu. Up into the 9, so 29. Good start from Indonesia. And Koshikar, world number 43, leads things out for Ukraine. Was former indoor world champion. In fact, the Ukrainian team boasts 2 former world indoor champions. Ivanskaya here also has won that title. Long hold.
I think the conditions here have just changed. I think I can hear thunder in the background. We've got rain coming down. So things are about to change. It does affect the equipment.
You know what? I saw a bit of lightning in between the 2 semi-finals as well. And that could play a big part, couldn't it?
It could. If that is deemed to be too close, would have to stop. But, you know, at the moment, obviously, the judges are happy with the safety of the conditions here. So we will resume and continue, or just continue as we are, unless that changes.
Just what we need to add more tension to perhaps the toughest archery tournament in the 4-year Olympic cycle. Rain stopping play at the critical point. You can hear the rain coming down now. with a movement and a longer hold, but into the 10 for Salsabir, and a 57 out of 60 for them. I think that's already out of reach for Ukraine.
Yeah, I think you're right. So with the rain, I mean, we wouldn't stop for rain. Rain on its own is not an issue for archery. We continue through that, wind, rain, whatever hits you. But it's just the lightning. If there's a safety concern, that's the only reason we'd stop. But it could absolutely tip it down now, and we'll have to cope with that. So it could push the arrows down low, the raindrops hitting the arrow, and it can also affect the leather that on their fingers. You can see a little twitch there. The fingers on the string are protected by a bit of leather. Now, if that gets wet, that can become slower. The release can slow down, and then the arrows again can drop for that reason. So it's going to, be interesting to see who reacts to this.
And as you can see, the wind blowing right to left, and that one's drifted over further to the left-hand side, finishing on 8 and a 52 for Ukraine. Perhaps a little bit of misfortune with the conditions changing, well, fairly dramatically as Ukraine stepped up for their first 3 arrows. But it was all the same for both teams in the second half of that match, or second half of that set, I should say, and Indonesia just shot better. 2 set points to 0 up. So now, adding to the tension, you could see the digital windsock there in the middle of the display, just blowing all over the place. But just a few seconds ago, it was blowing across from right to left. Now it's blowing as a straight headwind into the faces of the archers. It's swirling about. The judges made it clear it's raining by her apparel. No hassle for the Ukrainian team, so it would seem, but absolutely no change and no emotion from the Indonesians, apart from when they secure the set points.
Yeah, it's a job well done, isn't it, from them? Really tidy group, hitting 10 on 3 of the 6 occasions, so they've just got to keep it in there now. Just, they've dialed the sights in, they know where to aim. Let's see if they can do it again.
Indonesia leading by 2 set points over Ukraine. Remember, the winners of this match are qualified for the Tokyo Olympic Games. The losers will have to go into a bronze medal playoff, and they will face a French team who have got the crowd here. They're a very small crowd, I have to say, but they certainly got the crowd behind them here in Paris. The pre-set jig from Ukraine, getting ready. They don't say too much, they stay fairly calm in between, but they do have that little call to arms. They trail by 2 set points, and they really need to shoot well as they start set number 2. There's a little line on the left-hand side of the yellow center of the target for Ukraine. Formed by the holes of the previous arrows, and obviously as soon as I say that, the advanced guy had noticed it and he's adjusted over to the other side.
We saw a similar thing, didn't we, in the match before? America going over to the left, so the conditions certainly changing.
9, 11.
Well, this represents an opportunity for Indonesia. Real Salsabila will want to capitalise. Just hit the line there, Prastiadi. Well, Well, they certainly have capitalised there. 29 plays 25 in Indonesia's favour in this second semi-final. Well, you can see Advanced Sky moving around all over the place. Not quite sure how he managed to salvage a 9 there.
Yeah, I think there is a bit more wind around now.
Yeah, and all this movement, I mean, if you can see it, as we could clearly see there, yes, we're tight on their faces and their bow hands, but if you're moving that much at the shooting end, it can make a massive difference at the target end.
It can, but if you think of the arrow parallel to the target, if the front hand and the back hand are moving the same amount, then the arrow's still facing the target equally, if that makes sense. You know, if one side was moving more than the other, then we'd get a difference and the arrow could, you know, wildly go somewhere else. But as long as your archer's moving both ends together, then, you know, they've got a good chance of getting it in towards the middle. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, it did, yeah. Hands in line with the target, and even the movement doesn't affect it too much. This is looking very good for Indonesia. On for a potential 58, more importantly on for a 4 set point lead here. 5 will do it. Tried to pull that one away, it's gone into the 8, it's more than enough for 56. Plays 52 in the second set, and Malaysia are leading now by 4 set points to 0. Running away with this one, Nikki, I told you so.
Yeah, I think you might be proving me right here, but it's not over till it's over. So yeah, let's see what happens. Look at the flags, the windsock now. Conditions are changeable. So I think the point I was trying to make before around how much movement we see from the archers is that, you know, we're not robots. We don't hold everything absolutely still. We can see movement, and that's okay. If you're trying to be too rigid and hold everything still, that creates a lot of tension, and tension is not what a recurver wants. They want fluidity and you know, movement through the shot. It's got to be a continuous motion. So, you know, that is an important point, that it's okay to move around a little bit with the wind. Try not to fight it too much, and you can still hit the middle.
We take a look back at some of the shots, and that it's crucial that we have this inside knowledge of what it means. So, for just developing on that conversation, Nikki, where the movement looks smooth and consistent, we're okay with it. What we should be looking for is these big flinches then.
Yeah, I don't like to see those movements. You can see that there. So the arm sort of went to the right, didn't it? On release, went a bit soft, and then he tried to pull it back by pulling the arm to the left again. So a correction of the shot. So what we want to see is that expansion movement forever, pushing and pulling, and as if the string just slips through your fingers, and you make that lovely follow through.
Well, Ivan Koshkar needs to get all of his technique right here. Ukraine 4 set points to 0 down, shooting first. Not quite in the center of the target. Handing over to Kyohei Ivansky. Trying to pep each other up. Alexei Hunbin, the third of the Ukrainian trio. Just pushing that out into the 8, so a 26 at the halfway stage for Ukraine. Kandriel, Sabila and team do this in 3 sets. They just need to level on points with Ukraine to get the 1 set point they need for victory and qualification for Tokyo 2020.
I think we heard some more rumbling, a bit more wind coming in, heavier rain.
Yeah, the director's showing you the windsock. You see all those feather flags, as Nicky's been referring to, down the end of the range there. Yeah, but if the director's showing you the windsock, there's a reason for that, and it has got a little bit more gusty and just slightly more damp. So chance here for Ukraine to get right back into this one.
Oh, I think he might have missed. Yep, he just put it through the clicker. It didn't come through properly.
And the chance, just like that, has disappeared. And he's just put his bow down. All done and dusted in the worst possible way, especially with a 10 from his teammate. Commiserations on the miss. A 46 finish for Ukraine is now a gettable target. All 8s so far for Indonesia. A cruel miss after an X and a 10 from his teammates for Ivan Sky. High in the target again and into the 8s. So still needs a 6 here to take this. Puts it into the 10 to finish off with a 50, and it's 6 set points to 0 for Indonesia. Not quite the dominant USA performance against France, but still the scoreline reflects the same result, a 6-0 victory for Indonesia, but a crucial, critical and heartbreaking miss for Alexei Ivanskyi with his final arrow in that 3rd set. Nikki, what happened?
He just didn't get the arrow through the clicker, so as we see the arrow comes on that clicker, that draw length indicator, and instead of it going click and created that nice follow through release, it just went off. He just went soft, he just let go of the arrow, and immediately we knew that, well, it wasn't enough to hit the target even. So yeah, such a shame. I think it's just telling of the pressure they're under. I mean, if that had been a 5, that would have been enough for the set, we would have continued. So the pressure these guys are under is immense. Just to get into the top 12 teams in the world to get an Olympic spot is just so hard.
Yeah, we look at Alexei Ivanskyi here. And you see in that first set, most of the arrows drifting off to the left. Solid performance from Indonesia. And remember, they've got a 17-year-old in their ranks in Arif Angestu, who we just saw there. And they rely on the more experienced Alvianto Prastiadi and Real Salsabia. But that there's Alexei Ivanskyi. Must be very tough. It was good to see his teammate Hunbin just giving him a commiserative pat on the back, saying, look, don't worry, mate, we've got another chance coming up in a minute. We're going to have to face France for what is the last men's recurve team place. Indonesia have booked their place at the Tokyo Olympic Games along with the USA. Those two teams will face each other in the gold medal match. But we will have...
This will be the one. Did you see it?
Yeah,
that was the arrow.
That's the heartbreaking arrow from Ivanskyi, when Ukraine, quite frankly, had a big opportunity here, especially with all those 8s from Indonesia. I don't think they could quite believe they did it with a 50 in the end. And I think we are going to get a chance to have a chat with the Indonesians.
Tokyo. Arif, how does it feel for you?
Selamat, Anda masuk Olimpiade Tokyo. Arif, bagaimana perasaan kamu?
I feel so good because I'm seneng banget soalnya bisa membawa nama Indonesia ke Tokyo.
we are so happy that we can bring Indonesia to the Olympics.
Alvianto, it was a very good match for you from the beginning. Then it started raining very much. Ukraine started coming back, but then they missed the shot. So it was a bit crazy match with rain conditions, everything.
Bagas, sekarang tadi kita lomba hujan besar. Ukraine tadi mau ngejar Indonesia, tapi tembakan terakhir tetap Indonesia yang menang. Bagaimana perasaan kamu?
Sangat bangga ya saya. Tidak menyangka jika tim kami bisa menang dalam World Cup final qualification Paris ini.
We are so proud and we didn't expect that we win, but all this practice and everything makes us going to the World Olympics.
So, Ria, when did you start believe that it's possible to go Olympics? Which match was the one that you thought it's possible we will be in Tokyo?
Di perlombaan mana yang Mas Riau yakin bahwa Mas Riau dapat ikut Olimpiade?
At first, in the Asian Games 2018, I believe that I will going to Tokyo, and yes, today we're going together in Tokyo with our team.
Thank you very much. Once again, huge congrats for qualifying to Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations, Alvianto Prastiadi, Arif Angestu, and team leader Riau Salsabila. The only thing I have to say is you need to sort out your umbrella management when doing interviews in the rain. I think Riau Salsabila was having a problem, but let's have a look.
All these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions, they block in your vision, but